Hey folks, welcome back to 2 Minute Tuesdays. This week we'll review yet another book. But before that, I have something special for you. Let's roll the intro. Alexa, stop. Which we are reviewing today is by Mohnish Pabrai, The Dhandho Investor. Alright, so what does this book talk about? The Asian Indian community comprises of like about 1% of the total population in the USA, out of which very few people belong to a state in India called Gujarat, and even out of that, a very small subsection comprises of the people by the surname Patel. It is therefore surprising that more than 50% of the motels which are currently owned in the United States are owned by Patels. The fact that the Patels were virtually non-existent 35 years ago in the US is also mind-blowing. And they came in as refugees with no education or very minimal education and no capital. And with their very broken accented English, all odds were against them, and yet today the Patel community is owning about $40 billion of motel assets only. There is only one word which can explain that, and the word is Dhandho. So let's break the word. Dhan is a Sanskrit word which means wealth. Dho means endeavors that create. So endeavors that create wealth is Dhandho. So how did the Patels actually manage doing all this? And they bought it at the very low price because of the market situation at that time. The banks gave them the loan against the motel itself, and then this also provided them their own accommodation, so that helped them stay. But then, being very sticky about money, what they did was they were running the whole show by themselves. So the whole family used to operate in the motel itself, and they used to take care of the entire motel, and that's how they could actually save a lot of operational costs, and then in return they could price their rooms at lower rate, and that's how their businesses started growing and they made money. And this is a story in a nutshell, but you should read the whole book. It's very nicely explained. So this whole book focuses on low risk and high return approach to business. The whole motive of the stories which they have given in the book is heads I win, tails I don't lose much. That's the approach you use in business. So they gave a couple of examples of Gujaratis. Then does it mean that only Gujaratis are Patels? No. Then he gives an example of Richard Branson, the Virgin guy. So he ventured into airlines. It's a very interesting story. There was a proposal which came in whereby he was asked to start an all business class airline from London to New York, because nothing of that sort existed, and whatever existed was pathetic. And then he did the math. So he called Boeing. They were willing to give him the aircraft on lease. And then the other math he did is like, you do not have to pay for the fuel until after your first landing. You do not have to pay your staff after your first landing. And the advantage is the people who buy the tickets, they pay you before your first takeoff. So all this math led him to get into this business, and he really worked it nicely to his favor, and that's how he moved ahead in his business of airlines. In a nutshell, what he is trying to say is, if a well understood business is offered to you at half or less than its underlying intrinsic value 2 or 3 years from now with minimal downside risk, take it. The mantra always is few bets, big bets, infrequent bets, all placed when the odds are overwhelmingly in your favor. Otherwise, just wait for the right time. So the whole book is about Dhandho or a business, but then he leaves a message about life as well. So he says a life focused purely on the maximization of wealth or create comforts for self and family is a suboptimal approach to living. You will use some time and some of that Dhandho money to leave this world a little better place than you found it, than you have lived your life. We cannot change the world, but we can improve this world for one person at a time. If we are able to do that, it's a life worth lived. That's it for now. See you next Tuesday. Thank you. Take care. Cheers.